Hello, everybody. This is MoveEasy Yoga with Thea. Kathy's on the floor, star model. And today is the 13th of February. Happy Valentine's Day tomorrow. I love all of you. Let's get started with our regular start point, just lying on the floor, watching your breath, coming into the room. This is not a time when you're going to try to do anything with your breath. I just want you to watch it. It may change, but not because you tried to change it. I love my body loves me. This is a Sankalpa or mantra, that you can say. During the class, after the class, it's a really nice mantra. Go ahead and bring your hands behind your head for vagus nerve reset. And I want to tell you that this movement, just putting your hands behind your head and laying here, is one of the movements that she gave me, a physical therapist, for creating more range of motion in your shoulder. And I would say what I like to do with it, I added onto it, is if it feels like too much, if your elbow is dropping too much, your bent elbow, and is creating any discomfort for you, you could put a little towel or washcloth under it so it's meeting the ground, just like Kathy's done. But this is a shoulder exercise, just so you know. And then, without moving anything else, shift your eyeballs to the right and wait for a swallow, sigh, yawn, or gulp. Come back to center. Shift your eyeballs to the left. Wait for a sigh, swallow, yawn, or gulp. And then come back to center. Do this 2 more times without my cueing you. And when you're finished, let's do the head ramping. So remember, Caitlin likes to do this on the therapy balls, and you may want to try that too. Just pressing your back of your occipital, your skull, your occipital ridge into the therapy balls or the floor or your hands. And the head slides, the back of the skull slides up away from the shoulders. And stay there for a couple breaths. And release and do that 5 more times. Just take your time. Press, slide your head away from your shoulders and take a couple breaths. We're going to do a breathing practice now. Go ahead and get your strap, wrap it around your chest, just underneath your breasts. And you're just going to do rib cage breathing, so with resistance. So the strap is creating the resistance. And you can put your hands also at your rib cage with using the thumbs are toward the floor, the fingers are towards your the top of your rib cage. And just as you inhale, feel the expansion in all directions, front to back, side to side. The strap will help you feel it. Expand the rib cage into the strap. And then exhale. The focus is on the rib cage, filling the rib cage, filling the diaphragm, filling the lungs. A couple more breaths. Move the strap. We're going to do hypopressives. We're going to do the bridge hypopressive. Do it twice. And you start just the way you are, bent knees, but your heels are down and your toes are up. So your feet are dorsiflexed. Your arms are beside you, palms down. And then when we get to the holding your breath out part, no breath part, you're going to lift your hips and your arms overhead. And then as at the end of the no breath, you'll bring them down in an inhale and then an exhale. So first, 3 breaths. Inhaling Exhaling. Inhaling. Exhaling. Last breath, inhale. And exhale all the way out. Hold your breath out, lift your hips up, then bring your arms overhead. And no breath. I'm going to count to 15. You stay as long as you can. You may want to put a brick under your hips, a thick brick to help out here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, no breath, 13, 14, 15. That's it. Inhale. Exhale. Come on down. So we'll do that one more time. 3 breaths. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Last one. Inhale. Exhale. All the way out. No breath. Lift your hips and your arms. Stay here. I'm going to count to 15. Stay as long as you can. 1, 2, no breath. 3, 4. You should feel your core working. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Inhale, hips come down, and exhale, the arms come down. Nice work, everybody. I am going to pull my script up on the screen. I think right now is what I want to do is show you that, because we're still here and we're going to come up into seated in a minute. I'm going to show you this movement. So stay on your back, Kathy. Lie on your back. This is the movement I got that's going to help with this arm behind the back, help get it, create more range of motion there so that you can climb up your spine, walk your hand up your spine. So let's start on the right. Kathy, bend your elbow and put your right hand underneath your butt. Yeah, okay. And this is it, you guys. Well, this is not quite it actually, but let me tell you some things you can play with while you're doing this. Your hand can be low. It can crawl up towards your spine. Now, your body is going to tell you when that's too much for your shoulder. And so you just drop it down farther till it's mild. You're working, you can feel the work, but it's not painful. So the other adjustment you can make is bring your arm close, your elbow towards your spine. So tuck it in farther. And same thing, you do it, but you don't go too far. Always listening to your body. Now, while you're doing that, finding your optimal position for your, how low the arm is and how far inside underneath your body it is, bring your knees together and drop them to the right. Both knees drop to the right. Can you feel? Now that actually is also going to have to be modulated. Says Kathy says he agrees. So if that's too much for you, just adjust and pull your legs up a little bit. But start to lean your legs to the right, and you'll feel the work here, and just stay here. And if you wanted to do this as a project, you notice you can do this in bed. If you wanted to do this to help to open up your shoulders, you just stay for, I don't know, hold it for a while and then come back and repeat it 5 or 6 times. Just do it two more times, Kathy. So come on up and maybe make an adjustment with your hand.
Oh.
Is that your cranky arm?
Yes,
Okay.
that's my dad's shoulder.
Yeah, mine too, as a matter of fact. But this is, don't you think this is an interesting exercise though?
Yeah, I like it. It's a good stretch for it.
It's a really good stretch, and it's, so there's a way in that it's passive, but it does a lot of stretching for your shoulder capsule, your whole shoulder girdle.
Yeah, I can feel it.
So find your best spot, you guys. Don't hurt yourself. Don't do too much. I actually did a little bit too much yesterday, so I'm backing off today. Too much something. I'm not sure what it was. Maybe this one. After you're done, just switch to the other side. You can wiggle around first and then switch. So remember, you can adjust how bent your elbow is, how the hand is higher or lower on your butt, or up a little farther. And then also how far in underneath you tuck your arm. How high and low, and then how much tucked it is. And then drop your knees towards the side that you're working on. And breathe. And just do this 3 times. We'll come back out of it after a couple of breaths. So if you had a whole practice, if you were actually focusing on this, you would want to do 10 reps 3 times a day. Well, let's say 5 to 10. So you get to design your own program. And we're going to go ahead and, whenever you're finished, come up to a floor-seated position. And we'll do hold, have your strap behind you because we're going to, beside you, because we're going to, in this series, we're going to do that strap work behind with the hands behind. But the first thing we're going to do is just a thoracic side bend. So go ahead and slide your right arm along the floor. I'm going to get my timer out here. And stay here. Arm overhead. I can do this now. Well, I'm on the side, but not on the side that's really being tested. Keep your hips on the floor. Side bending. Bring your elbow forward for the last part of the pose. Your top elbow forward. Stretching under the armpit. Bring your elbow up. Bring your torso up. Other side. Arm up and over. My arm almost looks normal. I'm so excited. Go ahead and bring your elbow forward. Feel the stretch in the back of the armpit. Come on up, elbow first and then the torso. We're going to repeat this on the, repeat this whole thing. Switch your legs. Slide your right arm along the floor. Left arm up and over. Big side bend, thoracic side bend. Bring your elbow forward. Come on up, elbow first and then the torso. Switch to the other side. Left arm slides, right arm up and over. Breathing. Like this, a thoracic side bend. Don't lift the hip. Bring your elbow forward. All the way up, elbow first and then the torso. We're going to do a spine twist next. Starting on the right, just putting your left hand on your right knee. Take your right arm behind you, spider fingers. Find your spine twist and maintain it. And then if you'd like to, start to move your rib cage side to side without involving the shoulders of the upper trapezius. The rib cage move. Slowly unravel and come to the other side. Right arm, hand on the left knee, left arm behind you, spider fingers. Rotate your spine. Find your spine twist, thoracic spine twist. And then if you'd like to, rib cage slide. If it seems like too much, leave this out. Come on back, all the way back to center. And I think we're going to go right into the sideline practice. Oh no, let's do this strap work. So starting with your right hand bent low behind your back. So put the strap. I don't have a strap. Hold on just a sec.
So if we're doing that, put the strap over your right shoulder.
Well, well, no, put your strap over your left shoulder,
Left shoulder.
right arm, bend your right arm and hold on to the bottom of the strap, and then bend your left arm and hold on to the top of the strap.
So right arm in front or right arm in back?
The right arm is in front, but it's up.
Okay.
No, wait a minute. No, I'm sorry. The right arm's in back. Bend your elbow, take the right arm and grab the strap in the back. Sorry, that was the missing link, in the back. And then hold on to the strap at the top. with your left hand. Your elbow is up high, Kathy. It should be, your left hand is also in the back. There it goes.
Oh, like, okay.
Up high.
In your back.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, it's like scrubbing your back, like you're in the shower, you're scrubbing your back. You lift your the strap with your top hand, you lower it with your bottom hand, and keep going maybe 5 or 6 times. And we should call this the back scrub, I guess. Really, strap back scrub. So this is, can you see how this is similar to the pose we did lying on our back? So both of them are getting at that shoulder capsule, joint capsule in the shoulder. Switch sides. The strap is on the right side. The left hand is on the bottom of the strap. The right hand is also at your back. Well, I'm not going to be able to get it quite back there, but, and then you're pulling, again, scrubbing your back. You just changed your hands. If you kept doing this, your the range of motion in the shoulder that would allow you to move your arm up your back, the bottom arm up your back, would improve, will improve. And then go ahead and stop that and come onto your side for the sideline practice. I'm going to try to do some of this as well, but you don't need to look at me. You can look at Kathy. I'm just doing it for myself. You're going to lie on your back, on your side, with a brick under your head. Bend your knees, stack your knees, stack your hips, stack your ankles. The top arm is straight out parallel for the first movement of these are in triplets, 3s. The first movement is scapular protraction, retraction. So just the arm is out, and make sure you're doing this from the scapula. So feeling the scapula move away from the spine, which is called protraction. And then you bring it back, the scapula moves back towards the spine, retraction. Keep going about 9 times, back and forth. Scapula, protraction and retraction. This is all, a movement is all at the scapula. Of course, the arm moves because of the scapular movement. Now take your arm up towards the ceiling, sunrise, sunset. We're going to do this 9 times, just up and down. This is actually a lateral abduction, adduction movement. You don't need to know that though. Up towards the ceiling and parallel to the floor. We have 2 more to go. And then come back up to this, toward the ceiling. We're going to do a internal and external rotation at the shoulder joint. So make sure you're not doing it at the wrist, and it's internal. So coming in, internally rotating, and then rotating away from the front of the body, rotating toward the front of the body, and then away. You just slowly do that. Internal, external rotation. You may want to make a fit so that you don't use your wrist. It would encourage you not to use your wrist. Two more. And then just bring your arm down to rest at your hip. You want to shrug a few times. That's the first three. That's the first triplet. The second triplet in this practice is starts with technical snow angels. You're going to externally rotate your arm so the palm is facing the ceiling, and then bring your arm up over your head by your ear, or as far close to your ear as you can get it. And then before you come back, the palm faces forward, and then you bring your arm. It's just 2 levels of external rotation. Now palm faces ceiling, arm comes up. Palm faces forward, arm comes down. Keep going, do about 4 more of these. You could also have your head on some therapy balls, like especially the alphas. I think there were 2 more. Finish up by your hip, and then start shoulder circles starting behind you. So bring your arm behind you. Whoops. I'm going to have to rest on this one, I guess. Let's do 6. Remember, you're not moving your torso, just the arm. It's circumducting in the glenohumeral joint. Reverse your circle. When was that, Kathy?
Okay, that's 6.
That was 6. The last one you're going to do is flying pizza. Bend your elbow, half of a flying pizza. Bend your elbow, and then bring your arm up, and then rotate the wrist so it's towards your ear. So the first the palm is facing the floor, and now it's facing your ear. The last one. So that's the last of the second shoulder triplet. Now the leg triplet or hip triplet. Straighten your bottom leg, droop your foot, and lift your leg up. And you want to stop before you start to use your hip flexors. So this is you should feel the muscles on the either side of the thigh working. But if you start to feel the muscle along the groin working, then you've gone too far. You've added a flexion. This is not a flexion. This is an adduction, abduction. You should feel your core here, your stomach. And 2 more. The famous yoga teacher, 2 more to go. You. One is flexion and extension. So you're going to take your leg forward and then backward, and you can dorsiflex your feet as you come forward and plantar flex as you go backward. And try to just keep just moving the leg, nothing else. And if you'd like to, you can squeeze the buttocks and stay for a breath or 2 before you come forward. Flexion, extension. Squeezing the buttocks, the glutes when you dip to the back. Coming forward, I'm going to say again, I'm going to say 2 more. I think it's a little, I think I overcounted, but I think it's all good. Come back, bend your knees, bring them a little closer to your face. So this is called clams, among other things, and you're just going to take your top knee and move it away from your bottom knee. The ankles and the feet stay together. You should feel this on the outside of your, mainly on the outside of your thigh. And now we're going to add resistance to it. So just put your, you can bring your knees a little closer to your face and put your right hand or your knee, your hand on your knee, to knee. And then come up, but resist as you come up. So as you come up, the hand is resisting the upward movement of the thigh. And as it comes down, the thigh is resisting the downward movement. A couple more times, you should be feeling this big time in the glutes. Because of the added resistance. One more. And flip sides. Everyone go to the other side of the mat, the other end of the mat. And hopefully, a lot of you will remember this. We repeat this every 4 to 6 weeks. So this is a go-to practice for most people, for a lot of people, or I like to think of it. It's my go-to practice. If I say I want to work out, but I don't really know what to do, I do this. I usually add something else to it. But so the first one is protraction retraction. So scapula moves away from the spine and then it moves towards the spine. Six, go ahead and bring your arm up, sunrise, sunset. The arm comes up, the arm goes down to parallel, comes back up to the ceiling. Just think about for each movement, think about what's happening and what's happening with the head of the arm bone. And think about your breath. Pay attention to both of those things. 2 more. Last one. Come back up, the arm goes toward the ceiling. Now you're going to do internal, external rotation. Make a fist. You can put your other hand, the fingers of the other hand in front of the arm bone and feel it as you're internally rotating and externally rotating at the shoulder joint. Don't use the fist or the wrist or the elbow to move it, to make this movement. 2 more. Okay, that's the first triplet. Go ahead and bring your arm down to rest on your thigh. Take a couple breaths here and feel how this feels. You're not in a hurry. This is not a contest. Well, what it is an attempt to become aware of your body movement and improve it. So the next thing is shoulder circles. Bring your arm behind you. And then up by your ear, and then forward, and then back by your hip. And just keep going about 5 more times. Lower is better. Two more. And reverse. You want to make this practice twice as long, do 12 repetitions instead of 6. Finish up. Did we do, let's see, what's next?
Need to do the snow angel.
I was just going to say, I don't think we did technical snow.
We did.
Okay, so this time, just go ahead and your palm comes toward the ceiling as you go, bring your arm up toward your ear. Palm faces the forward and you bring your arm down by your hip. And up you go. Four more. I think that's the last one. And now, the next one is flying pizza. Ready the circles. Okay, the arm the elbows bent, palm parallel to the floor, and then you bring your arm up and you rotate your forearm when you come up. So as you come up, so that by the time you get to the top, your palm is facing your ear. Feel this in the back of the shoulder, the upper back. Great for rotator cuff stabilization, mobility, repair. Unless you have to listen, if you have a rotator tear, you would have to listen to your body. It may not, if it's a fresh injury, it may not be the best thing for it. You ask your doctor or listen to your body. A couple more times. That's the last of the second shoulder triplet. Now the hip leg triplet. Extend your top leg, droop your toes, lift your leg. Lift it as high as Jane Fonda did. She was probably dropping her hip back and using her hip flexor at the top. I actually heard that she was doing some more exercise at 80. Amazing. Come on back and forward, flexion, extension. Remember, you are adding some ankle and footwork by dorsiflexing your foot as the leg comes forward and plantar flexing or pointing your toes as it goes back. When you come to the back, you may want to pause and squeeze your glutes. One more? Okay, I believe you. Okay, the next thing we're going to do, the last thing we're going to do in the series, knees come up and clams. So bring your knees, bend your knees, bring them up towards your face, and then lift your top leg, your top knee away from the bottom knee. You do that about 6 times. Now, if you start to feel I'm starting to feel when I do it, I'm starting to feel the flexion, the hip flexor instead of the adductor. So I'm going too far. I'm going to make it a little smaller. I can remember having to do this in the beginning anyway. So you start to feel the hip flexor, which runs at the groin. You've gone too far. You really need to feel the movement on the outside of the thigh as you come up. Go ahead and add resistance. Bring your knees a little closer to your face if you need to. Put your hand on the knee, and then the knee comes up, but the hand resists the upward movement. And then as the hand pushes the knee down, the knee resists that movement. So back and forth you go. You should feel this big time in the glutes. Which is good for you. Good for you if you're, especially if you're sitting a lot in a chair a lot. I've lost all track, so I think maybe one more. And now that's the end of that series. Let's check and see how much time we have left. Check my script as well. So come out of your sideline position. Come up and go ahead and come up into a seated position of some sort. And 10:20, we have 5 minutes. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to do, we're going to come onto the floor, onto your belly, or well, the first thing we're going to do is bird dog. So come onto your hands and knees first. And go ahead and take your right leg back behind you along the floor, and then your left, and lift it up. And then left arm, bird dog. Keep the hips, so drop your left shoulder and hips. So that, try to think of it as your hips and your shoulders are square, parallel to the floor. Nice. Take a couple breaths here. Bird dog, this is balancing. This is core. The core is holding you up here. And then come on back, switch sides. Left leg. Right. Nice. Very nice. You can see that Kathy is trying to keep her hips and her shoulders even. I should probably be timing this, but I'm not. I'm just talking. One more time, switch sides. Right leg, left arm. Feel the core holding you up here. This is a balancing exercise. Come on back and switch sides. And then come back down and come into a prone position on the floor. And take an inhale to prepare to come up. Your arms are at your side, palms up. Take an inhale to prepare to come up. Exhale to come on up. Lift your chest, your head, your arms. I'm going to time for 30 seconds, not 40. I think this is a hard one for staying for a long period of time. You don't have to stay up. If you need to, you can come back down before I cue coming back down. Or if you want to, you can lift your chest a little higher. Inhale to prepare to come down, and an exhale to come on down. We're going to do it again, only we're going to come up into airplane, if you dare. Otherwise, stay at the level 1 position. Take an inhale to prepare and an exhale to come up. And from here, very nice, Kathy, come on up. Inhale to prepare for the arms and exhale to bring the arms out into an airplane. Timing for 30 seconds. Stay here if you can. If you'd like to, you can come up with just a little more. Great for building upper back muscles and bone density in the thoracic spine. Take an inhale to prepare to come down and an exhale to come all the way down. And then put your arms out in an airplane again for the thoracic mobility stretch. The arms are out in an airplane along the floor, looking to the right, taking your right leg up and over. Keeping your armpits, your arms, your hands, your chest on the floor. We're going to time for 30. Your hips and legs can do anything they want. This practice alone would be changing your posture and your lower back pain, actually, at the same time. Come on back. Switch sides, look to the left leg up and over. Just taking some breaths, breathing while you're stretching. Keep your armpits on the floor. Come on back. Find your way onto your back for the closing Yoga Nidra meditation. You may want to put a blanket on you. You may want to put a washcloth over your eyes to help your eyeballs sink into the sockets. Just start to watch your breath. Watching the belly rise and fall with your inhale and your exhale. Now bring your awareness and your attention to the center of your eyebrows, the center of your throat, right shoulder, elbow, wrist, right thumb, second finger, third finger, fourth finger, fifth finger, right wrist, elbow, shoulder, center of your throat, left shoulder, elbow, wrist, left thumb, second finger, third finger, fourth finger, fifth finger, left wrist, elbow, shoulder, center of your throat, spiritual heart center, right side of your chest, heart center, navel center, center of your pelvis, right hip, knee, ankle, right big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, fifth toe, right ankle, knee, hip, center of your pelvis, left hip, knee, ankle, left big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, fifth toe, left ankle, knee, hip, center of your pelvis, navel center, heart center, center of your throat, center of your eyebrows. This completes the 61-point guided Yoga Nidra meditation. Just start to bring your attention gently back to the room and to your entire body, stretching your arms overhead and your legs along the mat, seeing if you can stretch right, stretch left, stretch both, and see if you can create a little space between, a little more space between your rib cage and your pelvis. Some of us have very little space between rib cage and pelvis. Wiggle your fingers and your toes. Wiggle your wrists. Circle your wrists and your ankles. Make a fist, spread your fingers. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Hug your right knee to your chest. And your left knee to your chest. Hug both knees to your chest. You may want to use a strap. Rock and roll from side to side. Stretching your lower back out. And then finally rolling all the way to one side, all the way to the floor into a fetal position. Bottom arm is your pillow, right hand, the palm presses into the floor to bring you up to seated without rounding your back. Find a seated position, unmute yourself. I'll start my video. I'm going to remove the spotlight. I'm going to change my view to gallery. I can't change your view to gallery, but maybe you'll want to change your view. We're going to start. Just find a floor seated position that you like. Bring your hands together. Press your palms really strongly so you can actually feel the upper back, the scapula working. All the muscles around the upper back. And then go ahead and relax the prayer pose. And lift your skull up away from your shoulders so that you can bow, roll the skull over the top of the cervical spine. The cervical spine stays straight. Just roll, nod, bow. Acknowledging and honoring the light inside each of us. And knowing that we are all one light. And closing the class by saying to each other, Namaste.
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 Hello, everybody.
Thank you.
I'm going to stop the recording.